News 9, this is breaking news.
All right, that breaking news here from the News 9 newsroom, that wildfire that we have been following since this morning. Marty Logan has been up there. Let's head over to David now in the Bob Mills Weather Center. David, what's the latest?
Well, here's the deal. You know, it's a big fire. It is still burning, and some good news here in the last 10 minutes or so. Its expansion to the south, it is still ongoing, but not quite as rapidly as what it was. Firefighters are doing a good job getting down on this thing, but it is still burning, no doubt about it. Evacuations underway. We have Marty Logan up there. We have Val Castor up there, right in the thick of it there. You can see the flames moving on by. We'll check in with those guys coming up. Let's go to Links 1 here. Now, this is the fire here, but notice how it's a big, hot, black spot, big fire, okay? This is southern and southeastern Harper County, and the wind is strong from the northwest, so the fire is burning down towards northwestern Woodward County, which is trying to make a beeline down for the Fort Supply areas. So if you live in or around Fort Supply, it's a fire warning for you, and it's an evacuation order to evacuate if you live in Fort Supply and or around Fort Supply. And we're talking about from there up to the north, okay? So there's your big fire. One other fire here northwest of Tulsa, a couple of fires there, but that's the big show right now that we are, again, obviously concerned about. Look at the smoke plume, runs from the fire all the way down to I-40, okay? So it's a big-time fire. That smoke's getting high in the sky, and it is traveling a long, long distance. So there's Val, there's Marty, there's Fort Supply. The fire is still east of 183, not very far, but just east of 183, but evacuations underway. If you live in Fort Supply or east of Fort Supply in northern Woodward County into far southern Harper County, you need to evacuate if this is headed towards you. And it's kind of hard to judge sometimes because of the wind and the smoke and the visibilities, okay? If you're concerned, if you're worried, go ahead and leave. And I know that sounds horrible, but leave your location if you are in the line of that fire, okay? These are live wind gusts in the northwest. We've got some gusts 40 to 45. Just had a 51 in Cheyenne, 43 in Woodward, 49 in Beaver. So winds are topping out right now at about that 50-mile-per-hour range at times in the west. Just had a 53 there. Northwest of Clinton, and how about a 47 in Visay? So here in Oklahoma City, we just had wind gusts of 45. So it is blowing for sure. Look at the humidity. Here's another one of the problems. It is in the teens right now. So very, very dry air in place with all that wind, and the drought continues to hang tough in the west and northwest. You've had a little bit of precip the last couple of weeks, but not enough. On a day like today, the fires will win out. Okay, let's go to our trackers now. Let's go to Marty Logan and bring Marty in here and get an update from him. And Marty, I tell you what, looking at satellite here, it's not as, you know what I'm talking about when I say this, Marty, it's not as hot as what it was the last couple of hours. So the intensity has come down, even though I know it is still burning. Give us an update.
Yeah, the intensity of the fire has went down. The intensity in my body is still elevated. This is a scary situation. You're looking right there on the right side, a working fire that's going to be at a mile north of me. You're seeing a fire truck over here on the left side of my shot. We're on east-west 26. These guys made a valiant effort. So far, they have stopped it from going south across east-west 26, but this fire is still a working fire. We have resources coming in from the Forestry Service, and I think around 6 county strike teams right now headed to this fire. Back to you, David.
Yeah, and lots of good people working hard to get this thing under control right now, and they've done a good job. They are getting down on this thing, but there are still pockets that are just out of control and still burning to the south. So look at the vegetation up here. See how brown this is? We're still in our winter dormant stage, if you will. We're greening up slowly, but not enough. So all that dead vegetation is on top, it's on the surface, and it is fuel for these fires. But can you imagine being on one of these tractors, right, out here, just trying to cut a line out in front of this thing, a fire break? Man, I tell you what, hats off to these men and women that are out here today doing what they do. And also, we got the planes and all that involved coming on in, so it's a big deal. Okay, let's go back to Links 1. No, let's go back to Val Castor here. And there's some flames now. Val's on the other side of the fire. Go ahead, Val. Give us an update on what you're seeing right there. We see the flames, and boy, it is moving for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, David, I mean, look at those flames. I tell you what, this fire, when it gets out into the grass, it absolutely races towards the south and southeast. What you're looking at here is the flames. We're on kind of on the south side of the fire here, not that far away from Marty. But when it gets into the taller grass, the fire, I don't know what kind of a speed it's moving right there, but I would say at least 20 miles an hour when it gets in that tall grass. Very dangerous situation. We have heard of evacuation orders for Fort Supply. And right now, I would say we're probably 4 miles north, maybe 5 miles north of Fort Supply as this fire continues on. David, back to you.
Val, that's exactly right. From downtown Fort Supply, that's about right. You're about 5 miles up North Road 1940 is where that fire is. So back to Links 1, there's the fire. There's Fort Supply. In the lower part of your screen, you can see where Val and Marty are located. And Marty is kind of on the head of the fire right here, which is right there. Here's Fort Supply. So it's moving to the south. It's moving to the southeast. If you live in and north and east of Fort Supply, evacuate now as the fire will continue to burn to the south. Hopefully firefighters will knock this thing down and get a handle on it. Right now, it is still burning and marching south. We're taking a break. We'll be back. Stay with News 9. We'll keep you advised.